All right, welcome to Strategic Gaming. My name is Mac Taylor, and I have two people with me today. As always, it's Jada Lewis. How's it going, Jada?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good today.
And we also have the person who, even though she's not yet played the social experiment, has won the same amount of HOHs as Jada, who's played twice. It's Tequilla Jaeger. How's it going, Tequila?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right.
Hey,
So
you thought I was done throwing shade, and here I am continuing to throw shade.
you will never be done throwing shade at me.
Even if you win an HOH next season, I'm still gonna give you shit.
I know it's like the back in high school, the whole date thing. Even after I'd gone on dates, you guys are still like, Jada, you've never gone on a date.
Because even then, it wasn't like a good date.
What does it matter? I went.
And on to the thing that people want to hear about, it's Big Brother.
Sorry, guys.
All right, so episode 8, guys. We start out and everyone's talking about like, yeah, Nicole, like we'll work with her for now, but like no one really wants to align with her right now. Because after the whole Autumn thing, it was like she was gonna vote to keep Autumn just as a pity vote, but then didn't. So nobody voted to keep Autumn. And Autumn was upset about it. And Boogie acknowledges that like if someone would have done it, it probably would have got Autumn's vote at the end if they were to make it to the final 2, but that was like a missed opportunity for Nicole. Do you think we'll go Jada then Tequila that Nicole should have voted to keep Autumn, or do you think that going with the majority was probably the best?
I don't think it would have put her game in any much of a different position had she voted for Autumn as a pity vote, because then people would still be saying shit, but just in a different way. You know? So they wouldn't see her as like a bad friend, but they might see her as a bad player. Like a weak player for voting out of pity. So I don't know if it necessarily would have made that big of a difference gameplay-wise.
Okay, Tequila?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree. It's like either, I mean, because one vote, I mean, really is not going to change anything. So, I mean, even if she wanted to do it for a pity vote, I really feel like I agree with Jada. Like, nothing would have happened either way. I mean, people still would have, talked the same way they were talking, whether or not Nicole voted for Autumn or not.
Yeah. I mean, unless Nicole makes it to the end and she, like, the cast comes back and does their voting, then, that's a dumb lost vote, which I'm pretty sure Boogie was talking about at some point. But, I mean, other than that, it doesn't really affect current gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in the predicament and I was like Nicole claimed to be so close with Autumn, if I really felt strongly about Autumn as she said she did, I would probably just give the vote, because someone like Autumn, one vote would be like, oh, okay, someone likes me.
Yeah.
Whereas, like a normal player, it doesn't matter. They've come to terms with their eviction. I would just probably do it just to make her feel a little better about herself. But I think ultimately it was a smart move to stick with the majority of the house, because these people get very touchy if they don't feel like people are on their side. And Hardy talks about, he wants one. It doesn't matter if it's Boogie, if it's Will, if it's Shannon. He does not care. He wants one of the 3 out this round or this week. And he believes that Will is the key to it all. That Will's the danger. Will's, Shannon's the mouth, but Will's the actual threat in the trio. Do you think this is a fair assessment, or do you think would you feel differently about who's the biggest threat of Chilltown? We'll go Jada then Tequila again. Go ahead, Jada.
I think gameplay-wise, Will is probably more of a threat because he's more strategic about his strategy. But Shannon is also a pretty big threat because of the way she acts out. So I think the way he did it I think he knew that Will was going to stay and Shannon was going to go because she's more outwardly disliked because she's more outwardly crazy than Will and like outwardly dramatic and causing problems. And Will's just quietly in the back talking shit.
Okay. Tequilla?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. Like Will, he's more of the head of the chill town. He's kind of like, I mean, because he's a doctor, but I mean, he also knows how to go along with this game and win challenges. Kind of, I mean, he's not staying under the radar by any means, but he's also playing it to where he's not getting everybody's hate like Shannon is. Shannon, on the other hand, like, yeah, she is more of the mouth. She is a danger, but again, she's been disliked, I think, from the very beginning, ever since she opened her mouth to begin with. So I think Hardy is doing a good job with putting Will and Shannon up next to each other.
Yeah, I agree with what he did. Now, I think some of his reasoning or how he handled it, and we'll get to in a minute with that, is a little off. The fact that Hardy can realize that Will's probably the head of the snake says a lot. That Hardy's intelligent, but just because you can figure something out doesn't mean you can always get a good plan to counteract it. So we get, Will and Shannon are now doing their DR sessions together. They're like she's sitting in front of him like all the time now, and basically she's like, yeah, fuck Jim. I'm gonna be with Will. Like she's pretty dead set on that. Like
Yeah.
like we get a lot of her talking to people about like, yeah, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't really have a career goal, and he doesn't seem like he wants to be with me, which, I mean, Jim doesn't really seem like a winner. Like when I saw his little video package, but this just kind of seems like I think Shannon's aware that she's not being portrayed very well, and that she's trying to be like, well, I have emotions, but this guy doesn't work. Will is a doctor. Blah blah. I don't know. What do you think about the whole Shannon and the whole relationship stuff, Jada and Tequilla?
Well, I mean, of course, her timing was just in time for her to be like you said, to be like, oh, I'm being portrayed pretty poorly. Let me see if I can make this any better. And it did. It did help, I think, my image of her in that situation. I still don't think she is doing it the right way. Like, she should not cheat on her boyfriend. She should talk to him and probably break up with him. Probably should have broken up with him before the show if she didn't feel so confident in the relationship. But obviously it wasn't handled well. But it does make you understand more why she so easily fell into Will's charms.
Yeah, I agree. On the part where I feel for her on the part that she is going through with her boyfriend. That's the only time I do feel sorry for her. Other than that, I mean, the rest of the time, I don't like her at all, honestly. But where she is falling for Will, he's more loving. He's showing her more attention. He does have a job. He's got his life set and ready for him to go. So, I mean, I do understand why she fell into Will and is like always at his side.
Fair enough. I don't know. Like I believe a little bit of it, but like I think she's definitely playing this up a little bit because I mean, there comes a point in the house if you think like, oh yeah, I'm definitely coming across as the bitch, that you probably want to try to redirect that before you go back into the world. And this is really before social media, but there's still some sort of backlash that could be like if you're portrayed as a really bad person on television. Like nowadays, like you'd go home and your Twitter and Facebook would be fucking loaded up with death threats.
Yeah.
But it's still a thing back then too, a public image. So Will and Shannon, they're like, yeah, it's gonna be us. Like gonna put us up. Like, there's no way he doesn't put us up. But then we get this thing between like Bunky and Hardy. That Bunky's like, I really feel bad for the girls. I don't really want them to be on PB&J another week. And Hardy's like, fuck it. If it's me and them, it's gonna be them, not me. And like, kind of turned into a little bit of a debate, but it was, Bunky quickly etched it out, knowing that he didn't want Hardy on his being pissed at him before nominations. What the fuck do you think happened here? Tequilla, then Jada.
Like Hardy's already in this head of household, I'm the boss kind of thing. So I mean, this is PB&J, and he's throwing it out of proportion. Like Bunky's just trying to tell him how he feels about all this stuff, and then Hardy's just like backlashing on him, like, you know what? Screw these girls, PB&J. I don't care. They wouldn't care for me. I don't understand why you're siding with the girls now. And then Bunky realizes that Hardy's like might come after him after this, so then he's like, all right, fine, PB&J, I'm not gonna throw this challenge, I'll try my hardest. I don't think it should have been like a real like shindango kind of thing between Hardy and Bunky on the PB&J.
And Jada?
Yeah, I think that Hardy is kind of under a lot of stress with the HOH thing. And so for Bunky to come out and say something, and Bunky didn't even say he was going to like throw the competition or anything. Bunky just said, like, I feel bad for them and I wish they didn't have to eat like the PB&J. Like, I wish there was something I could do, but not necessarily throwing the competition. And like she said, Hardy like lashed out, and it shouldn't have been as big as a thing as it was. And then Bunky going and apologizing to Hardy later. I don't know how much of that Hardy really believed, but I mean, it was good that they talked it out after the initial blow up, because I think it's just a lot of stress and like worry and like, wow, like you'd really go out of your way to make this harder on us when it's already this hard type of thing.
Yeah, like, and I really felt like like I said, Bunky's just he's a very emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he just feels sorry for the people that don't get to eat what they want to eat, and that's a fair thing to feel. And Hardy, I agree with he's never had to be put on the spot like this. He doesn't know what he's gonna do, and he's freaking out. And just anything that doesn't click well with him, he's just like, "Well, why would you do that?" And Monkey's like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I like them. I'm sorry that he worded it like, I'm sorry I have emotions. Hardy's like, all right, just don't have those emotions anymore. I was like, fuck off, man. Like, that's like, I know your HOH is hard. Like, I've been there, but damn, dude, like, let it. You're fine.
Like, Hardy really, like, this is the loudest he's been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the fun-loving, likable Hardy is really going out the window with this HOH. We get this one's fun because we get Will and Shannon, or Will's in the shower. They're talking about like getting married, and Monica's like, all I see is like, you a damn model, you a damn doctor, y'all got a lot of money. I don't know what you're complaining about. And then she's like, you gonna come to the wedding, Monica? She's like, I better be coming to the wedding. And I was like, Monica, I love you so much. I wish you were in these episodes more. Like, we really don't get a lot of Monica stuff.
Yeah.
At all.
It's pretty sad because she's hilarious.
Like, one of the funniest people in the house. So it's like, when she pops up, you're like, oh, I forgot you were there. But thank God you're there, because there's a lot of tense shit happening right now. I like you. So, like, you know what? That's not nothing to talk about. It's more so just like, glad to see a Monica moment. I wanted to point it out. The food comp, it's a group comp, so they can all like breathe. That they can. There's no like, you're on PB&J this week. Basically, a lot of ball talk. Everyone's talking about balls. Like, it's clear with the innuendos, but they have these little like foam balls. They gotta write what foods they want on it. And they're gonna launch ball after ball after ball over the wall of the house, and they have to catch them and put them in these bags. And whatever they catch, they eat for the week. Really, and they do well. They get a decent amount of food. Mike catches the most balls out of everybody. My question for you guys is, how do you think you would have done if this were a challenge that you were a part of? We'll go Tequilla, then Jada.
I mean, it looked pretty hard though, and I know Bunky was freaking out about him not catching any, but like I could understand because that did look pretty hard. I don't know who it was, but some people were like just diving to get the ball, and I'm like, I don't know if I would sacrifice my Nicole. Yeah, I don't know if I'd sacrifice my well-being just to like. I mean, to get food. I mean, it's understandable, but I mean, I don't want to hurt myself just to catch a ball.
For shrimp, it's fucking shrimp.
I mean, I guess I do. I would probably do average. I maybe would probably catch 2, and that would be it for me.
All right, Jada, what about you?
I'm pretty uncoordinated and I have pretty bad vision, but I was thinking about, they never said anything about not being able to catch the balls with the bag, which was a strategy that I was thinking that I could probably be okay with because that would give me more leeway maybe to catch the ball. So that's what I was thinking I would do.
You could probably use your shirt too, like hold out your shirt, try to make like a net.
Yeah.
Like they all they said is the ball couldn't touch the ground. They
didn't say anything about nets and bags.
Yeah. So like that all could have been something that they did. But it's just funny that like when Bunky caught one, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Bunky let out a huge sigh," or like he was so excited he caught a ball. And I think the person who caught the least, I think Nicole caught like 2.
Mm-hmm.
I might have been like caught the least. But she was like literally like face planting. I'm like, girl.
Oh, Nicole.
You'll be fine.
She was mad at the peanut butter and jelly, okay?
Clearly. But like she's vegetarian, so like all she got out of what they had was veggie burgers, which okay, that's pretty good. Egg substitutes and
like cherry tomatoes and asparagus and
cherry tomatoes and asparagus. That's all she has. That's a hard knock life. Then we get a great deal of time spent on this. Is Kent gets the HOH room all the time because of his snoring, but Bunky sleeps on the floor, and like they're always talking, and like it kind of shows like their friendship essentially. Like Bunky's like, "Do you want me to cook you eggs for your sandwich or whatever?" And he's like, "No, I'm mad at you because you wouldn't cuddle with me in the bed or whatever." And like, there's jokes like that. And Bunky even makes like a fag joke at one point about himself, and like, what does he say? Where he's like, "Did you bring something?" He's like, "Oh, Tupperware."
Tupperware, yeah.
He's like,
He's like, "Oh, I thought you brought Tupperware from home." He's like, "Oh, you must really think I am a fag, bringing my own Tupperware." Like, I brought my own Mary Kay products, but I didn't bring Tupperware. So we'll go Jada and Tequilla. Thoughts on the Bunky Kent friendship, and does this help Kent's image for you? Because I know you were both very low on Kent at the start of the season. Just start Jada and Tequilla, talk about your thoughts.
If anybody had told me at the start, like at the season, like episode 1, that I would eventually not hate Kent as much as I did, and that him and Bunky would actually end up being like pretty close, which you did tell us. But I mean, I would have been like, no way. Like, I'm always going to hate him. He's never going to like grow as a person. And there's no way they'll actually be real friends. It'll all just be like fake and for show. But it's like true and it's genuine. And Kent is becoming like a better person in my eyes.
Tequila?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I totally see the transformation now between episode 1 and episode 8 or whatever we're on. But like, yeah, I didn't think they'd be that close and that friendly. They're hitting it off really good, like really good friends, and like it makes me happy and it makes me smile because he doesn't hate Bunky for who he is. He's accepting him and he's making his friend and he's bringing him into everything. So I mean, I like it. My perspective on Kent has actually changed for the better.
And then we get we get a lot of alliances, but like they feature a lot of the same people. We have the Untouchables, as they call themselves, which is Monica, Hardy, and Krista.
Mhm.
And Hardy's big on this. This is Hardy's like goal, is to get Krista and Monica and himself to the final three. The reasoning, which really I think this is a terrible move on Hardy's part. Krista is liked by both sides. And how do you hate Monica? If Monica can get to the final two, she's got everybody's vote. Krista has played both sides really well. And Hardy, not a lot of people are not a fan of him right now. So this is his group. This is his ride or die. But I don't know. Thoughts on the Untouchables, Jada, then Tequilla?
Well, I really like Monica, as we discussed. Like, she's hilarious and she's smart. Hardy, I really like him as well. I don't think the HOH is doing good things for him as a person, and I think he knows that, because you could kind of see him later on in the episode. Oh man, I don't remember, but the second episode that we watched for this week.
9.
Thank you. Episode 9, he was like really upset after the group meeting, and you could tell it was because he was turning into a person that he didn't necessarily want to be. So I think it's just like all the stress of the HOH thing is making him a little more difficult to like as much. But I think once he doesn't have all that stress, he'll be cool again. And then Krista, I love her. I love her Southern accent. I think she's hilarious, and she taught Mike how to eat like the crawfish, and that was hilarious. Always got really excited over like the crab legs and stuff. But I know there's a lot of mistrust towards her in the house right now, and I kind of also am like a little upset because she's not like picking a side, and I don't know if that's necessarily like a good gameplay. And I know that's what a lot of the other guests cast talk about as well.
Yeah, with Krista playing it neutral, I mean, yeah, it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing on her part. Monica, she's really playing it down low. Like, she's friendly towards everybody. She's getting to know everybody really well. So I feel like she is pretty untouchable right now with Hardy, and being the HOH, it's really bringing out his bad side, which it's affecting him really bad towards everybody else. So I mean, to call them untouchables, I wouldn't necessarily say that's a good name for the group right now. But other than that, I mean, I think they're a good group. I just think if Hardy wasn't in the HOH position right now, I think he would have like a better character right now.
Right. So then we get a big chunk of this episode. So everybody, Hardy especially, hates Shannon. Everybody talks about, and Bunky throws shade, and like, I love the little Bunky shade moments. He says that Shannon has no social skills whatsoever. She's never needed to have social skills. She's been dominant in everything she's done. Now she's not, and she does not know how to integrate herself amongst people. And when she does, it comes off as either awkward or annoying. Like, she tries smoking, and like, she is the person who was like, yeah, smoking's gross or whatever, it's terrible for your bed. She's doing it to try to get over with these people. And this ultimately just leads to her crying in the DR with the known fact of like, America probably hates me. This house mostly hates me, and I'm probably going home. So we'll go Tequilla and then Jada. What are your thoughts on what we're seeing now is the destruction of Shannon, her game and her personality?
I'm going to bring up the toothbrush incident on her, because that really pissed me off. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I can understand Hardy in his position and how he's doing what he's doing, but, like, you don't need to take his toothbrush to clean the toilet. Like, you're not in kindergarten. Like, you could have done something else. Like, the toothbrush, and then, oh, yeah, I broke it. I'm sorry, Hardy. And then, later comes to find out, she was lying, and he knew that she was. And then, she does that smoking, and she has a little fun, and then she comes to the realization, has this mental breakdown. I just realized I'm not fit for this house. Everybody hates me. I'm a total bitch. to everybody. And I'm like, yeah, you've been that way for a while now, Shannon. Like, come on, get it together here. So, but I can see how like this house is bringing everybody down from their top to their low now. But again, I don't feel sorry for Shannon. Like, I just want her to go. Like, I wanted Autumn to go. And that's my thoughts on Shannon.
Okay, Jada?
Yeah, her lack of social skills, Bunky's like shade about that was so spot on. I don't understand. I'm pretty sure she's a realtor in real life.
She's a realtor and a model.
And a model. So the model thing I get because she is pretty, I guess. But the realtor thing, like, she doesn't have a personality. Like, how does she make sales if she doesn't have any social skills? Like, that's part of the game, right? Anyway, yeah. So, like, the whole toothbrush incident was, like, just so childish. And she immediately got called into the diary room. And then instead of being honest about it and like saying like, I'm sorry, like I had a tantrum, I had a fit, and I just like lost control of myself. She's like, yeah, I knocked it over and broke the head. And then like just threw it away in plain sight so that when Hardy came to look, it was very obviously not broken. Like she didn't think that through. And then like the smoking thing, nobody thought that was cute. Nobody thought that was, like, anything but hypocritical and annoying. She's just not well liked by anyone in the house or the audience right now. And she knows it. And that realization was, I'm sure, hard for her, but nice to see her finally realize it.
Yeah, and, you know, all these things, the toothbrush thing, which, you know, we got a whole section of that on the next episode, and we'll definitely take apart everybody's side. And I call it toothbrush gate. It's toothbrush gate because holy shit, did that go out of proportion. But that's too far. I get it. And the thing about Shannon is that she is incapable of being either a villain or she's definitely not a hero, but she's definitely not a villain. Because, you know, if you're going to be dirty, if you're going to really be a bad person, you got to own it. Yeah, just own it. Be like, yeah, America does not like me. That is okay. I would still like $500,000 though.
Mm-hmm.
And just try to play out this game. Because the second that you're like, fuck, they don't like me and I'm going home, just gonna ride this bitch to the end, and maybe hopefully a couple of people will change their mind, and no one's gonna change their mind. You know, just do what you came to do, play the game. If you're gonna be the villain, stay the villain. Don't try to fucking change and expect people to be okay with that, because I think that's the difference between Shannon and Will. Because Shannon, she wants to be liked while being a bitch, whereas Will does not care if you like him or not. In fact, would probably rather you not like him. And he's still going to try to win. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to show off and be cocky, but he's also, look at his life. He's winning.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you talk about wanting to be the villain. That's the only thing Will knows how to be. So that's the difference. You got the person who owns who they are and the person that seems to want everything but can't have everything.
And then you were talking about like changing, and that's one thing that's interesting is that some people in the show have changed who they are. You know, Nicole has become, for the most part, less confrontational, but it happened naturally. And Kent has become less annoying and less of an outcast, a pariah, less, I don't know, homophobic. Like he's really made like a real change in himself, but that was natural. And so it makes sense. And so you're not mad about it. And even if we still don't like Kent that much, it's still like his change is palpable. But her changes are all just so like, oh, I'm evil, evil, evil. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm nice. I'm a human. I have emotions. Just like that. There's no natural progression to it because it's all fake. It's just for show.
Yeah. Like people can change as people. I agree with that. But I'm saying like, who you are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to play dirty, stay dirty. Like I think people have less respect for people who want to flip the script.
Yeah.
Even the other way. If you're a hero for 90% of it, but you do something dastardly at the end, people are generally pissed off about it because you're not supposed to be the person who does that. So, really, I think especially with these games, you got to realize what you are and stick to it. You know? But more on that later. That's not so much of a thing in this season as it will become later. Let's see here. Okay, so the last thing before the nominations is that Hardy has this deal he wants to discuss with Boogie. And this is an interesting dynamic that Hardy's like, hey, I will not nominate you. If your next HOH, you don't nominate me. If you don't accept this deal, I'm going to nominate you. Boogie, on the other hand, is like, that's bullshit. He's not going to nominate me. He's going to nominate Will and Shannon. This is a scare tactic. I'm not going to do this. So Boogie counters that offer with, I like the sound of safety. However, if you can put me on the block against Bunky. Leave Will and Shannon on the block. Bunky goes home. I won't put you up. Shannon won't put you up. And Will won't put you up. So that's 3 people who could potentially win the next HOH that are not going to target you. And also, he's like, Bunky is one of the biggest social threats in this house. He's going to win if he gets to the end. If you take him out now, you could probably beat any of us in the end. Or I go out, and I'm more likable than those two. So either way, you're doing yourself a favor, which is ballsy. And Hardy's like, yeah, no, I wasn't looking for a second offer. Like, if you take this or it is what it is. And then we get Boogie coming back with like, give me 45 minutes. Hardy's like, 30 minutes. He's like, okay. So we're kind of seeing 2 guys. Hardy, who's just doing something kind of, in my opinion, kind of stupid. But Boogie, who is thinking like 3 steps ahead, but Hardy's so stubborn, he won't take it. But Boogie's like, all right, fine, I'll give you your fucking answer, but it ain't gonna be an answer you're gonna like. So we'll go Jada, then Tequila. What were you guys thinking about how Hardy handled this deal, and who looks like the better player? Just really walk me through all the thoughts that you have. Jada first.
So I knew that he was gonna nominate Will and Shannon. I knew he wasn't gonna nominate Boogie, and I knew he wasn't gonna nominate anybody who wasn't the Chilltown group. And I think his thought process was that he knew if he came out with this deal that Boogie would go and talk to people about it. He would talk to Will and Shannon about it. And then when Boogie eventually didn't get nominated, then one of them would know, oh shit, did he accept a deal or didn't he? And so I think Hardy was taking more of like we'll put mistrust in the group for whomever stays. And so I thought it was pretty smart. I don't know if he went about it necessarily the best way. He could have done more of a deal with Boogie. Like Boogie was thinking about all these things. But I think they were both on such different ends of like the spectrum. They're both so stubborn about it that I don't think any real deal could have been made.
Yeah, I think that, I think it was good that Hardy actually talked to one of the Chilltown members. I mean, especially Boogie. He would have been more reasonable with a deal, so to say, that he made. But the way Hardy went about it, and he was kind of mean about it, a little harsh, and said, if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, then your head's going to be on the block. I mean, clearly it was just a threat, really, and I think Boogie seen through the threat that Hardy was giving him. And I guess, I don't know, I think Hardy was, playing it kind of smart, kind of not at the same time. He just, being HOH, you just got all this stuff in your head, and you don't really know where to put it, all the confusion. You don't really know. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to put it together. So I think what Hardy was thinking is hey, if I can get at least a Chilltown member to kind of get on my side maybe, and then, talk to Will and Shannon about it, then maybe I can stir something up there, and then we'll go from there. So I don't really know where Hardy's head was really at the moment, but he was kind of trying to push towards getting somewhere with the Chilltown people.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, not nominating Will or Shannon, one of the two, would have been bad. Like I definitely think for his betterment of his game, he needed to do one of them. And yeah, neither side wanted to. Like Boogie's like, yeah, either Will and Shannon are safe or your ass is next. Whereas Hardy's like, yeah, either you and me are working together or you're fucked. So it's like there was no room for progression. And the only actual, in my own personal experience, like when we played the social experiment and I was HOH, my thought was always, there's a time when I'm not going to be HOH. And I'm going to need people to not put me on the block and to not want me to go home. So how I handle this HOH is going to I need to set myself up for the week that I'm completely vulnerable. And yeah, there's a POV in my season or whatever, but you got to think ahead. You can't just think like in the now what I emotionally want. What is that's what strategy is. What is the best thing I can do now that will get me to the next step? That could get me to the next step. You always have to think about your future and how to get there instead of he's playing with his emotions. He's emotionally invested in what is happening this week. And that is bad, bad, bad when you are trying to set yourself up to win this game. So Will and Shannon nominated. They are not surprised. Bunky's key was pulled last for dramatic effect, I think. Because I think we're meant to be like, ooh, did he nominate Bunky? But no, once Boogie's key's pulled, it's pretty evident it's going to be Will and Shannon. So episode 9, a lot more Shannon and Will diary room stuff. But we get, and this is, I think, key. Like, this is a big moment in this season. Shannon and Will talk. Will's like, all right, I'm done. I'll walk out of this house. You'll be safe. And she's like, no. I'll get evicted. You need to stay in the game. Because you and Boogie together can do more than I can. Because Hardy will be more intimidated by you because you're a man, I'm a woman. I don't really think that's the dynamic, but that's what she's going with. But also, I think she realizes Will is a better strategist. He's a better mind. Him staying in the game is her best shot at one of them winning. So she's like, all right, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to call it and raise hell. I'm going to do every fucked up thing I can think about that I can do to get these people to vote me out over you. And Will's like, well, if that's what you want to do, which I think to me is Will being like, yeah, that's exactly what I would like you to do. That would be great if you could sabotage your game for me. That'd be awesome. And she does. She goes out and immediately is on Hardy about like, you're a coward. You put me and Will up because you're jealous of us because we're better than you. Hardy's like, I don't understand why you would think that's, cowardice of me. Like, you're my targets. I came right at you. I made no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's like, yeah, that's because blah, blah, blah. Just absolute crazy shit. Like, she is nuts right now. And immediately the house is like, yeah, fuck Shannon. To the point where Hardy's even like, yes, I need to get Shannon out of the house. Completely what he did. He was all about Will. Now it's like, Shannon did one thing to piss him off. And he's like, Shannon, you got to go. We'll go Jada, then Tequila. What are your thoughts on this crazy turn of events? Just what are you thinking?
Shannon is crazy. Like, she's delusional. I don't know. I know she's trying to cause a ruckus. I don't know why she decided she would be the one to go. I guess she thought Will would have a better time winning. I don't think her logic was the best logic, but she's right. I think he's a better game player than she is, but she doesn't want to admit that, so she's just like gonna pretend it's a sexist thing. Whatever. This whole coward thing is she starts saying it's all because of like cowardice and jealousness, and part of it is said she at one point it's not even because they're better players, but because they found love and happiness, and she's acting like Hardy was interested in her and he's mad that Will got the girl or something. And I'm like, where are you even getting this from, Shannon? Like, do you just think everybody's interested in you? Like, it's just how your life is? Because it's just not how it's just not true. That's never what Hardy has ever thought. Because you're a bad person. And so all of this, like calling him a coward and jealous and yellow, it's like just
Jada. I think we lost her.
Oh no.
She's like permanently frozen. Yeah, I'm gonna eject Jada and I'm gonna re-add her. That's probably our best bet here. Sorry about that, Tequilla. Why don't you go ahead and tell me your thoughts on the Shannon thing while I add Jada?
Yeah, like I was mad at first that she was going all crazy and psycho on it, but now that we're talking about it, I do see her strategy on how she's like distracting everybody towards her side instead of making everybody go towards Will because he is the strongest and I think Shannon knew that he's the strongest. He could pull, his brains with some of the games that they do, so he might have a better chance than she would because she's more of a talker than Will is. Like Will does talk, but he doesn't do it as much as Shannon does. So her starting a riot with Hardy was funny, but it wasn't at the same time because she's just like she's lashing at him the whole time, and then her starting stuff with everybody is getting everybody on her side to get her out because they're like she's not shutting up. Like every time she opens her mouth, she's yelling, she's calling somebody names. Like it's uncalled for kind of thing. So I do see where Shannon's coming from because Boogie and her wouldn't play good as a game as Will and Boogie would. So I think her reasoning for it is good, and if she really loves Will or whatever, she's taking herself out for love, basically.
Yeah. I really think at the end of the day, like that's what it is. I do think Will has the better shot than Shannon, but for her, it's just like, yeah, I'll lay on my sword for you.
Mm-hmm.
More so than it is like this is all strategy. Also, Jada, are you in or are you just a bubble right now? I'm pretty sure I'm just seeing a bubble. Said her Wi-Fi went out. That was the problem.
Okay, yeah, I just see a little bubble thing.
I'm texting her. I'm telling her she's a bubble. But yeah, I that's where I agree on it. It's just it's a lot of hot mess happening
Yeah, oh yeah.
on the Chilltown side. So moving on, we get Will and Boogie, now that they know Shannon's is gonna lay down and die, that they have to forge their future in the house without her and just the two of them. They're saying that, Hardy's next. Like they got Hardy's their big target. But they need to reintegrate. Like they got to get Krista pulled in. They got to try to work angles with Nicole. Like they got to get something because it can't just be the two of them because they're going to get nominated. Do you think Will and Boogie have a chance to win this game, or do you think eventually the odds are just too great?
I think that they might have a chance. I wouldn't say it's 50-50 maybe it's more like a 45, 65, maybe, you know, to like the 45 being on their side until they can get things situated out a little bit better. Because, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a hot mess right now. People still need to get their emotions in check, get their strategy a little bit more figured out because there's a lot of stuff happening all at once because everybody's just doing everything at the same time. So I feel like they might have a chance. I'm not saying that they could go all the way, but if they play their cards right, I think that they could.
Yeah, like from a fresh standpoint, really statistically, if Shannon lays down and dies, there's 8 people left in the house, and statistically, that's 6 people against 2 people. So that gives them like 30 to 40% chance of being able to pull this out. Like it's not good, and like they may be able to reel Chris in, but they're not getting Nicole. Nicole is firm. At this point in the game, Nicole and Hardy have both said on numerous occasions. I'm telling Jada that she's got the link again. Numerous occasions that we don't care about winning. We want to get Chilltown out. Then whatever happens, we don't care. We would like to win, but we're not playing the game strategically. We want Will, Boogie, and Shannon out, and then let the cards fall how they fall. Hardy said that in this episode. Nicole said it when she was on the block. But it's been reiterated a few times. They just want to beat Chilltown. So as long as Chilltown goes out, they're okay. I just want to keep iterating these words because like this will be brought up later. Like this, they have said this multiple times. They talk about the laundry situation. They have to do all their laundry by hand, which looks like it would suck. I've never actually done laundry like this, but it looks awful. And they're doing this luxury comp, which they have to like cross dress. They have to get their clothes on, and the winning team gets their laundry done. And we see the team of, I wrote this down because I would never remember, Shannon, Nicole, Bunky, and Kent getting their laundry done. Shannon said that she knows she's going out the door, so she would like to just have her laundry clean before she goes. Like Shannon talks like the game is done. Like it's 100% guaranteed, and it's not guaranteed that these votes are going to fall on her. She could want to go. Boogie can vote her out, but she's got to get everybody else to. Because if everybody else knows that she wants to go, maybe they keep her around. She's going to make things miserable, but there's a chance that they would flip it. But she's talking as though she's done. She's a marked woman. What are your thoughts on someone literally walking around saying, yeah, I'm done, but like still there? Does that, to me, it's a little upsetting because so many people would like the opportunity to do something like this. And then you're just walking around and be like, yeah, it's over. It's done. I'm just going to ride out my couple of days and move on with my life. Is it upsetting to you whatsoever?
Coming from somebody that really wanted to play this game and now they see somebody that's just basically gonna throw it out and not even try to get there, like try to get there like they want to. She's just gonna throw it out the window, and I mean I can see where people would hate that, and then it just makes it sadder in the house too because you can hear all the depression and the emotion in her voice, like, yeah, I'm done, thanks guys for a great game, you know, like she doesn't care. So I mean I can see people from the outside watching this and be like, really, like you're just gonna throw that out just because you want, you know, your boyfriend or whatever to win, or just try to get that way. Like put up a little bit of fight at least.
All right, Jada, I'm gonna have to get quite a few words out of you because you missed a couple of questions. So I want your thoughts on the following 3 things. 1, what are the odds looking like for Boogie and Will moving forward? 2, what are your thoughts that both Hardy and Nicole have both stated, as long as Chilltown goes out of the house, they don't care where the cards fall. They don't care about winning. They just care about getting them out of the house. And 3, what are your thoughts on Shannon literally just saying, I'm done, I'm going to lay down and die? Go ahead.
All right. Bunky and Will going forward. They're definitely big targets. Shannon is making her a bigger target this week. So because of the nominations, I think she's the one who's going to go because she's the one who's acting psycho, and Will is acting pretty normal. After this week, it really depends on who gets HOH next. Because if it's some from like top, then, you know, it's a pretty good bet that Will and Mike are going to go up. And so I think that they're not looking too great at this point. But Will is much more strategic than Boogie. So I think it's possible that Will make it farther than Boogie, just because, honestly, I don't really know how Boogie made it this far. I like him, but I don't know if I would call him a good player. I mean, he's good at the challenges, but I don't know if he's good at strategy necessarily. He did pretty good in the first week because, you know, he won HOH. But that first week of noms isn't really a lot about strategy at that point. So I feel like I haven't seen a lot from him. I forget the second question, so I'm going to go move on to the Shannon thing. Her whole, like, giving up, I'm going to lay down and die thing is just, like, weak, honestly. And for her to come out and say that everybody else is a coward and that they're all weak, when she's the one who's just like, yeah, everybody hates me anyway, so I'm not going to put up any fight because there's no chance, and at least I can keep Will in. Like, what's the point of keeping Will in? What does that do for you? How is that good gameplay? Like, it's just dumb. And what was the second question?
The second question was, both Hardy and Nicole have stated numerous times, Nicole in her nomination week, Hardy in his HOH week, that doesn't matter where they place. They want to get Boogie, Will, Shannon out of the house. After that, the cards fall where they fall. Not about the money. It's not about the victory. It's about, we are the good guys. They are the bad guys. The good guys need to win. What are your thoughts on that?
All right. You know, I don't really have a big problem with that, because if they're saying that they want to get these guys out before they leave, then that's at least some kind of strategy, because that's at least 3 more weeks before they go, right? So they're at least going to be there for 3 more weeks. And then once that's done, they'll have more time to think about like how to play and how to win after that. I don't know if they're necessarily being fully honest about it, because everybody's there to win. But I can understand being like so just upset with these people being so awful that you're like, I won't even care as long as they're gone, because they just want to be there in the house for, you know, at least a week before they go, where it's just nice and quiet. And you can't really blame them for that, because you want to have a good experience. You're there to win, but you're also there to have a good time. That's what Big Brother is about. So,
they have not had a good time since day 1.
No.
It has been just fight after fight in the backyard. So we get some actually like fun, upbeat moments too, coming from the same person. We get Hardy's working out and Bunky's like sitting off to the side, like, you're doing it wrong. That's not the right form. You're using too much weight. Hardy's like, would you just stop talking to me right now? Oh, that was so good. I loved it. And so the house has been asking for shit nonstop. Hardy wants a pull-up bar. People want a massage chair. And Bunky just wants a fucking toaster because he's tired of toasting bread in the oven. And so America chooses the toaster. And everyone seems kind of pissed off for a little bit, because they're like, you know, the massage chair is a really nice thing, but we get a toaster because Bunky really wanted that fucking toaster. And he's like, guys, look at all this bread we can now toast. We've got bagels, we got waffles. You're welcome. He's like, massage chair, pull-up bars, we're getting the use out of this toaster right now. I love, because And while the drama is interesting to watch, it's interesting to touch upon, sometimes just having a nice little nagging someone who's working out or enjoying a toaster or Monica cracking jokes about Shannon and Will getting married. Like, these are things that are absolutely necessary to ease the tension that is just incredibly rising in this house. Oh, we also get a little bit about there's a Black Widow on the wall and Shannon's like losing her shit. And Will's like, just calm down. I'm going to put a cup on it and it's good. It's gone. Like, okay, so that was fun. So that was the fun moments. Now on to, we touched on it a little bit earlier, it's time for Toothbrush Gate. Shannon is going, she signals Boogie as if she's talked about this before. She's like, I'm going to go clean the toilet. She makes like a toothbrush gesture. So she takes Hardy's electric toothbrush, all because he laughed at her, which I don't know if he did or not. Editing says could be, couldn't be. Takes his electric toothbrush. She goes into the bathroom and just goes all around the toilet with it. I mean, just deep. It's deep in there.
It's gross.
And she puts it back on the charger and walks out of the bathroom. Boogie is rolling, laughing his ass. Will has no idea what's going on. He's like, because she's acting like she's upset. And he's like, oh, you're upset, honey? I'm so sorry. And he takes her and walks her away. And the whole time, he has no idea what has just happened. And then they're like, Shannon, please come to the diary room. Because the producers are like, what the fuck, guys? So Shannon and Will come into the diary room. And this is great, though, because you can tell Will had no idea. Mm-hmm. And then when Shannon's talking about what she's going to do, Will is like smiling, but like trying to pull the smile back in. As if like they told him, he laughed and was like, oh shit, sorry, my bad. Serious moment. Like, I don't know. We're going to touch into, well, I'm going to go over this and we're going to touch on it. So they're like, look, you can't have clean the toilet with the guy's toothbrush and then him use it. That's fucking 1, gross, 2, unsanitary, and 3, like you just can't do that. She's like, all right, I understand. That was childish. She's pulling a Justin. I understand this was childish of me. I'm sorry. And so she goes and she cleans it and she throws the top part of it in the trash can. And she's like, yeah, I was reaching for my hair dryer and I knocked it over and broke it. And he's like, well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So then he's sitting there like fucking Sherlock. He's like, what was she reaching for? What is she reaching? Knock the thing over into it and cause the thing. I don't understand. Hey, Shannon, what did you say you were reaching for? And she fucks up here. She goes, my curling iron. She didn't say curling iron first. She said hair dryer. And he's like, curling iron on the thing. Your hair's not even curled today. He's like, oh, yeah, because I was so surprised when I dropped your toothbrush that I decided not to curl my hair. And like, he is sitting just staring at where this fucking toothbrush was. And he picks it up. He's like, it looks like it's not even broken. It looks like someone just took it off the top and threw it in the trash. I'm not going to use it now because it was in the trash can. Like, oh my God, did this get so much television time? Oh, and then finally Chris is like, yeah, she used your toothbrush on the toilet. And so they call a house meeting about a fucking toothbrush. She bought him a new one, which I don't know how she bought him a new one. I guess she had her credit card on file. She gets him a new toothbrush. And Kent's like, I just want to know why you would do that. Why? What made you do this? And she's like, I don't know why I'm on blast right now. I got him a new fucking toothbrush. He's like, yeah, Shannon. Why did you use my toothbrush to clean the toilet? And then why did you lie about it, Shannon, and say that you were using a curling iron when your hair was clearly not curled? Like, it was this whole fucking thing. I'm turning this over to you because I spent way too much time at the
That was a lot. Then you really felt a lot of things about Toothbrush Gate, huh?
Yes, I only wrote a couple of notes about it, but really it pisses me off that it got so much screen time. So we'll go Tequilla, then Jada. What the hell? This whole house meeting, this toothbrush gate, everyone at one point is involved in this thing. You touched on it earlier. Whole thought.
So I feel like, I mean, it did get out of proportion, but at the same time, it's airtime. People are watching it for fun. So, I mean, it's no big deal on that part. But the whole thing is, why though? Like I said, you could have done something else besides the toothbrush. Anything but the toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody...
She didn't have anything to put on his bed.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the whole... Everybody... See, like, when they were at this meeting, and then Kent was lashing on her, then she's like, why is everybody doing this? Like, it's taken care of. Nobody needs to talk about it anymore. And, like, it seemed to me like she was playing it off that nobody knew what actually happened, and that's why Kent was like, yeah, why, Shannon? Like, come out and tell us why, but she never really would tell us why. So I thought, I'm just like, Shannon, everybody hates you anyway, you know, you're so depressed about going home, just go ahead and tell the people. I mean, it was funny, but it wasn't like, I was ready to pull my hair out because it's like, this is way too much, and it was so much yelling about it. It was, so I mean, I agree with you. Like, it was too much. Maybe 10 minutes should have passed on this, and then it should have just been done. So that's my thoughts on that.
All
Hey,
right.
Jada?
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons they spent so much time on it is because it was clearly causing problems in the house, but also, I mean, this is before we had the POV challenges. So really, this second episode of the week, in between the Nom episode and the They're Going Home and HOH episode, there's not really anything of substance here. I mean, there wasn't even like the luxury challenge in this one, was there? Like, that was 8.
It was the laundry comp.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's like one little challenge, and then the rest of it is just them doing all this drama stuff. So it's not a lot of substance right now in these midweek episodes. But putting that aside, what the actual F? For one thing, this whole toilet thing is like disgusting. I don't know what's going through Shannon's head. I don't know if Hardy was ever even laughing at her specifically, or just laughing at something else before he even walked in the bathroom, and she just took it that way. Like, we don't know. She obviously took it and just went completely psycho with it. The lying is where it really went wrong, because if she had just said, you know, I had a weak moment, I did a bad thing, you need a new toothbrush. Do you have another replacement head? Like, if she didn't go and do all this lying, then Hardy wouldn't have got it in his head to be like, you said blow dryer, but your hair's not wet. Where was it again? A curling iron? But your hair is not curly. What are you doing? And so Shannon was just dumb with the lies too. Like, she wasn't even being smart about it. And then we have this group meeting, and then at this point, almost everybody knows what's kind of happened. For the most part, I mean, it's gotten around, and I don't know how it's gotten around, but it's gotten around. Kent has no freaking idea. And so, like, at one point, Shannon just straight up calls him a fucking idiot, because she's like, really, Kent? You didn't know that there was an issue? Like, what the heck?
Like, Kent's walking around like, so did anybody do any interesting bathroom stuff today? I'm wondering if anybody had some interesting bathroom stuff I should know about.
Yeah, like not being weird, just wanted to know, you know, what's the tea, sis? So that whole thing was just like, she didn't have to lash out at Kent like that. He was really just trying to figure out, like, what the fuck happened, because he had literally had no idea, because this is just so insane. It would never even cross his mind that that's what she did, because it's so freaking childish. And then Hardy was coming at her too, but I couldn't understand. I mean, he got his things fucked with. I mean, he got it replaced, but that's not the point. He got his things fucked with. You know, that's a breach of trust. And then I know this is a game where we all do shady things, but there's like certain lines that you just don't cross. And one of those is cleaning the toilet with someone's toothbrush. Like, that's just like so beyond anything. And then she's just deflecting it. Like, why does it matter? I got you a new one. Like, why does it matter? It's over now. Why does it matter? Because you did this terrible, terrible, awful thing, and you never fully apologized for it. You never came out and said why you did it. You never took any real responsibility for it other than just being like, yeah, it's over and I got you a new one. But, she only ever told him because the producers made her. If they didn't immediately call her into the diary room and have a chat with her, she wouldn't have told him. She wouldn't have made like a fake thing, like she accidentally broke it and was like gonna like apologize and replace it or anything. She's only doing this because the show is making her. So like, what the F, Shannon? What the F? She's definitely still the villain here. And she's trying to act like she's not, and then it's trying to be like, oh, Hardy's all mad and he's the bad guy. But no, he had his toothbrush. His toothbrush was in a toilet. He has every single right to be so mad and upset about this. Even if you put aside the lying, his toothbrush was in a toilet.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's just like...
I mean, it definitely got drug out, but it was insane.
House meeting, Jada. There was a house
I know.
meeting.
But did he call it or did the producers? Because I was under the impression that they were like, you guys are having a meeting about this.
Called it, but
it was kind of
Hardy
staged a
ran.
little bit. Yeah, they kind of staged it a little bit, and Hardy like went off. But he absolutely has every single right to go off.
All right, so that was Toothbrush Gate. Now on to what I feel like was the most interesting part of these 2 episodes. Is first Krista pulls Hardy into I think his room, and she's like, "Look, you're getting way too distracted in this Nicole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back in. Bring it back in, man. It's me. It's you. It's Monica. Focus. You gotta focus, because if you just lose yourself emotionally, you're gonna be next." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, you're right. Like I'm going way off the rails here." And she's like, "Yeah, just bring it back in. Just bring it back in." And then immediately Krista goes into the next room and Kent's like, "What side are you on?" She's like, "I'm not." She's like, "I'm not on a side." He's like, "Exactly. You're playing both sides. You're with Chilltown. You're with us. Who are you with, Krista? Like, I'm tired and you just gonna ride it out. If Chilltown goes to the end, you're going with them. If we go to the end, you're coming with us. I'm saying no. You pick a side, or I'm coming after you next." And I was like, oh shit, like that came out of nowhere, Kent. And because there's this whole top alliance, which is literally everyone who's not Chilltown.
Mm-hmm.
That is that alliance. The other people. So Krista's in some hot water because Kent and Bunky are then having a conversation like, "Yeah, I think Krista's playing both sides." Bunky's like, "She's with Chilltown." And he's like, "And what you don't know, Krista, is that you can't just, if you're okay with these guys, then you're just as good as they are, and that means you're going home."
Mm-hmm. Which is a fair point that really carries over into real life.
Yeah, but Hardy, he's like, if you hang with them, you condone the shit they do, like the toothbrush and the toilets, and I'm not down with that. And Krista, you need to pick a side. And I'm like, man, she likes Boogie. That's really it. Krista likes Boogie. She hangs out with them sometimes, but she hangs out with just about everybody. But you're like, you crossed the imaginary line of the house. You're in the Chilltown area. Your ass is next. Like, that's like a really broad assumption. We'll go Jada and Tequilla. Do you think Krista fucked up? Do you think this is hurting her game and she's going to pay for it? Or do you think she's going to be able to recover?
I'm going to start with a thought I just had literally 10 seconds ago. this whole Kent thing, accusing Krista of this, is so out of nowhere. Because we weren't even talking about Krista. Like, there was, like, interpersonal issues, and it was, like, everything was focused on the toothbrush thing, pretty much. And then all of a sudden, Kent's like, So, like, is Big Brother, like, sliding out little notes? Are they like, Kent, be angry about this?
And no, I think that's just Kent. I think just like that whole time he's like, toothbrush in the toilet. Yeah, that's fucked up. So Krista, like, I just think that's how his mind works.
It's just like, it baffled me. I was like, there's this, what? Like, where did this come from, Kent? Like, you saw her go talk to Hardy, and then, like, all of a sudden you're like, what team are you on? Like, everybody talks to the HOH. We're in the HOH. Like, if Nicole went and talked to Hardy, would you be like, what team are you on, Nicole? No, shut up. Shut up, Kent. Krista, you know, she really is just a nice person. I don't think she necessarily cares for, like, Shannon and Will too much. Nobody really does. We've seen her complain about Shannon before. I'm pretty sure she's complained about Will. But like you said, I mean, she really is just friends with Bunky. Like, she likes him. They get along. They had their birthday dinner together. Like, they had a good time. Or Boogie, sorry.
Yeah.
And all these B ones.
Literally just Bunky and Boogie. There's not like seven of
them. Too much. So, I mean, she really is just like, she's good with Boogie, and, you know, she's pretty nice. She's friends with everyone, but to, like, I don't know if it's bad for her game. I don't know if she necessarily should have immediately on the spot chosen a side. It's bad for her game because then they're all going to blow it out of proportion and put all this mistrust in, because that's what this group does, is blow everything out of proportion. But, I mean, if they could just, like, chill out and just realize that you have to live with these people for so long that, like, what's the point of always being angry and always being, like, shady and petty about everything? It's just going to make your experience not as good as it could be.
Well, Jada, if you had come into the diary room when you had your conversation with me in the social experiment too, and you were like, you know what side are you on? I see you talking to a lot of people and you need to choose. I'd have been like, okay, Jada, I see your game. And, like, I'd have gotten you out next.
Yeah.
So
I think it might be worse for Kent's game. Maybe not. If it was more public, I think it would be worse for Kent's game, because then they would all have seen Kent just out of nowhere, like, blowing off. But since he did it in private and nobody really knew, it's not as bad for Kent's game, but it could have been. But I would immediately be like, wow, you're an asshole. You're dangerous. You're causing shit. I don't want to play with you. Either way.
Tequila?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm on the fence about this. Like, Krista, she's nice. You know, she's like Monica. She talks to everybody about everything, you know. So, I mean, she's trying to get on one with everybody. But again, like, playing both sides. So, yeah, it can be dangerous playing neutral. And I think, you know, yeah, Kent's off the wall about stuff a lot of times. But again, he's just trying to fish for stuff. Like, he's like, hey, I was left out, you know, over this toothbrush thing. So maybe everybody else is hiding things. So let's try to figure out what's going on. But, you know, like Jada said, it's taken out of proportion every time. You know, like, he doesn't have to be so angry about it. You know, just pull her aside and sit down and talk to her. Like, you don't have to be mean and angry about it and cause everybody, you know, you can take Hardy, you know, and talk to Hardy about it, and that's fine because he's HOH. But not to where it's blown out and people are yelling more and stuff. So, I mean, for Hardy's game, I think he needs to figure out what side she's on. For Krista, it could hurt her in the long run because people could, you know, bring this back for future episodes. And then for Kent, I think it's hurting his game because he's not shutting up now. Like, like he needs to. He's fishing way more into things than just watching stuff happen and taking it for what it is.
All right, yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. I think at this point, Kent has done this whole like we need to pick sides thing so many times that like
it's getting pretty
almost
old.
like they're. I don't even think they really even care anymore. They're like, yeah, whatever. It's just Kent. That's what Kent does. Like they're probably still going to work with them. They're still going to keep them around for what's necessary. But like, it's just like, you know, when you're spouting off so much, but you're so off the wall, but people don't view you as a threat, they'll just let you go. And like, yeah, that's just what he does. Whereas Krista, I think it has formed some doubts, especially within Bunky, because the fact is now not only is Kent saying this, but Bunky is saying it. And Bunky has much more social barter than Kent does in this game.
Right.
The fact, and then if it spreads to Bunky, it could spread to Monica. And if it hits Monica, it's done. It's going to be the word. So, Krista, if I was Krista, I would very much try to distance myself from Chilltown until I can get my footing back with the other side of the house, because she is
sure.
Because if it's gonna be one of the other side, they would much rather it be her, not them. All right, so final question, and we'll wrap up this episode. Will and Shannon, who do you think is going home versus who would you like to go home? And I think this might be the same answer for you both, but we'll see. Jada, who do you think and who do you want?
I think we've pretty well established that Shannon is going to be the one going home. She is really causing a big old ruckus because she's psycho. She's also the one I want to go home because they mentioned it in the episode briefly as well, that if she stayed in, it would be more dangerous for everybody, and not necessarily in a gameplay way, but literally dangerous because she's psycho. So I definitely want her to go home. I know Will is more dangerous in a strategic winny way, but I'm okay with that because he's not like cleaning toilets with toothbrushes. So like he's not like a big old bully and like crazy psycho like she is. So
okay, Tequilla.
Yeah, I just want to point out real quick before I make my thing about Will and Shannon is that Will, I don't know, like he's a little psycho in a sense though too, because like once he found out what Shannon did to the toothbrush, he was like, just sanitize it a little bit. I mean, it's not gonna hurt him. It's not gonna hurt him too bad. And then she was like, yeah, Will's a doctor, so obviously he knows what he's talking about. It's totally fine. But besides the point, yeah, I think Shannon's going to go home. I mean, I know she's going to go home just from everything that she's doing. I want her to go home. I don't think Will hasn't made me mad enough for me to want him to go home or even to send him home, even if I was in the house. I would want his partner Shannon to go because it is affecting his gameplay in a sense, because Will wants to be with Shannon and only wants to do what Shannon wants to do, and he's not thinking for himself at this point. He's thinking more towards Shannon. So I want Shannon to go home, and I believe she will go home whenever the eviction comes.
Yeah. I think with Will, we kind of like to hate him. So we kind of want to keep him around because we like being like slightly disgruntled with him for being a dick. But with Shannon, it's like, oh my God, like this is just too much.
Exactly. Like Shannon does the crazy shit, whereas Will, like he says some things that are off-putting, but he'll never viciously attack you.
Right.
Yeah.
And in fact, 9 times out of 10, the things he says that we don't like is because like either he's right and you're like, fuck, you're right, or it's like, oh yeah, like I kind of get it, but you're really greasy in the way that you said it. Like that's slime ball way of putting it, but like you're on the right path. And like so, like there's a shred of truth in every Will thing that we look into ourselves for. See, he's a villain, and but he makes no ifs or buts. He's not like Shannon. He's not gonna cry in the DR about the public perception that he has. He's like, I am going to lie to you. I am going to say fucked up things to you. And I am going to win. And like to come into a game and say, yeah, I'm going to win. That's like, ooh, like people just don't do that. Right. So, and like, will he? That is yet to be seen. But the balls to do it, but to stick to your narrative, I think is it's like I was saying, you can't flip flop. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't do villainous things and still have everybody love you the whole way through. So that's about what we can milk out of these 2 episodes. We're gonna do 10, 11, and 12 for tomorrow's show. So we'll have 3 episodes. We'll have 1 eviction to talk about, an HOH, and I think nominations as well. So we'll have a lot to discuss. I wanted to get up to 12 because we've been at this odd number for a while, and it's throwing me off. And I just want to have an even number episode we're on. Because I'm like, 8 and 9. That's weird. So we're going to go to 12.
All right.
So I will see you guys tomorrow.
All right.
And you both work tomorrow, Greg?
Yes, I do.
No, I'm off, but I'm doing some birthday stuff during the day.
Okay. So we'll probably be at the same time tomorrow then.
Yeah.
All right. From Strategic Gaming, I'm Mac Taylor. Have a good night.